Whenever I spend a significant amount of time by myself for a while, and I go back into the community, I go back into the world, I'm not surprised, but I'm always a little disappointed with how rigid and inauthentic most people really are. Now, there's a lot of great people out there, and there's a lot of fantastic individuals that, for the most part, if you don't talk about certain topics or you just kind of chill, most people are going to like you. And honestly, that's a pretty bold and very precocious thing to have happen in your life, where if you can actually get people to just like you, you're going to get very far. And believe it or not, most people will like you if you're just able to chill. If you're not trying to be disruptive. If you just go into the world with the mindset of, no matter what happens, I'm lovable. Now that's a sense of confidence that just emanates from you. And it gives you this sense of raw, authentic power. But so many people lack this authentic power. And I'm not surprised. It's just when I'm alone and I'm by myself, I can be very childlike. I'm very much in my childlike wonder and pondering, and I like to imagine things and I like to think about things, but I'm not excessive about it. I'm not like, oh, I need to think about this and I need to think about that and I need to get at this and I need to do with that. I just let my mind be free. And I let the happenings of my environment just marinate into me, because in order to have influence in culture, you yourself need to be able to be influenced by culture. And I'm not saying that you need to be, a product of culture, but in some way you need to be capable of recognizing when culture is influencing you and when it's not. This is one of the reasons why I advocate for meditation so much, and why there are meditation types of classes and modes of and modules in the Regal Change Academy community, is that people don't know what meditation is. They don't know how to chill. They don't know how to chill. And they don't know how to just notice what it's like to exist as who they are in this body, in this life form that is the human body. And I think that a lot of times, this inability to chill, this inability to let the chips fall wherever they need to, right? Like, this is something that people just don't know how to do. They don't know how to trust in themselves that whatever happens, they're going to be able to pick themselves up and get going somewhere else if they need to. They don't trust that they have the competence to gather resources if they need to. They don't trust themselves because they don't trust God. And ultimately, like, the reason that most people are not clear on what's going on in their lives is because they don't have a proper relationship to God. I've seen it time and time again, and even me myself, when I was an atheist, I was an atheist up until I was about maybe 17, 18, right about the time that I was thinking about committing suicide for the first time. And, that was a very dark time for me. And they tried to, like, my parents wanted me to go to therapy. And what I told them was, I don't need therapy. I need you guys. Like, I need you guys to be here with me. I need you guys to, because my parents, they were, I'm not trying to talk bad about my parents, and I know that honor your parents is a commandment of the Most High, but it's like, they provided for me physically, absolutely, but emotionally and spiritually, they were absent. Okay. And so when I was trying to show them and tell them, like, I don't need a therapist, I need my family. I need you guys to be there. And if, of course, like if that's not going to be the case, then yeah, maybe I do need a therapist. Because that was really the only way that I was able to demonstrate what was really happening with me. Was they found like a note, and I had told them about a note that I wrote, and you know, it's just this terrible time, right? But if you don't trust, because I didn't trust myself, and I didn't know how to trust God, because there was neither God nor love in that household, okay? And on the outside, it looked fine, it looked great, but on the inside, it was a very dark place, okay? And when I finally started to learn that, okay, maybe there's agnostic, like maybe I'm agnostic, maybe there is something more. After that, I definitely believed there was something more, because I had a very crazy dream. This dream was, I won't go into the full details because it would take me a whole freaking video just to describe the dream. It was that intense. But basically, in the dream that I had that really shaped my life around was dream that really shaped my life around was when I had this dream where I was on a beach, and there was these beautiful mountains behind me, and there was this huge city on the beach, and essentially like 20 years of my life had passed in the dream, and I had gone through like modes of trials and all these things, and I finally got to you know, where when I was old enough, these like blue people came. They looked like people from the Avatar movie. The Avatar with the blue people, not the Avatar like the anime. And they came, and they showed me how I'm going to have to pass through the mountains because there's a big wave coming and it's going to destroy the beach. And so I had to pass through the mountains, and I had to lead the people out of the city and through the mountains, and many of the people that I knew along the way would die. But on the other side, I would get to this beautiful paradise, but I'd have to rebuild everything from the ground up. And I didn't know exactly, like symbolically now looking back, I very much understand it. But at the time, all I knew was that it was just a very profound dream. It was a very profound feeling that there was something more guiding me, and that my journey was not yet done. And so this was very encouraging. But of course, you know, nobody in my family believed me, and nobody in my family wanted to think that there was any meaning to these dreams, even though I felt as if I lived a lifetime of some kind. You know, I lived like 20 years in that dream. It was as if I was there, okay? And suddenly, when I woke up, I was back here. You know, I was back here in this human form. My consciousness was no longer in the dream state. It was in this form. And I think that once I realized that there could be something more, that's really what sparked my curiosity to start to heal. But the thing is like, I told the therapist about this, because they had me go to a therapist for a little while. And that was a bunch of BS. Oh my gosh, that was a bunch of BS. These people didn't even know themselves. They didn't even know who they are. And yet they're supposed to help me, guide me to me. I thought more people, like when I was little, even up until I was like 16, 17, because of the way that I was raised, I genuinely thought that most adults had life figured out. Well, because that's what you do, right? You're like, how naive was I, right? And I thought, well, most people they got life figured out, you know, because they're an adult. They kind of have to figure it out. Oh, boy, was I wrong. Oh, boy, was I wrong. Man, people are like freaking like shotguns that just, they'll shoot anywhere. And they're just, they'll just shoot somewhere, and they might shoot at their own house. And they're like, oh, there's a hole in the house now. Yeah, it's because you've shot the freaking shotgun at the house. I remember, oh my gosh, this is kind of a side story, but kind of funny too. I remember one time there was a rattlesnake in my grandpa's cabin. And when I was visiting my grandpa's cabin, and my grandpa was there, he told me to go inside and get the shotgun. And I was like, well, what's going on? He's like, just go inside and get the shotgun. I said, okay. So I go out, and then I come back and I hear the rattle, I can't really do the rattle, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, oh, it's a rattlesnake. And my grandpa's like, shoot the damn thing. Shoot the damn thing. And, well, he actually said something else. People might hate me for this, but this is my grandpa for you. He called it a cotton picker. That's what he used to use that term all the time. Oh, that cotton picker. Oh, it's a cotton picker. You know, just, I don't think he meant anything too derogatory about it, but just, you know, the background of cotton picking, just kind of the you know, with the slaves and all that, it kind of seemed like it was a bit harsh, but I don't think he meant anything, you know, too bad by it, but he would just say, shoot the cotton picker, shoot the damn thing. So I was like, Grandpa, I'm not gonna, like, it's on the porch, like, the window is right behind it, and he's like, well, if you ain't gonna shoot it, then I will. He grabbed the shotgun and, oh, poof, shot the dang thing right there. There's still, last time I went to the cabin, there was still a hole in that cabin, you know, on the side of the wall there from where he shot the rattlesnake. And we put the rattlesnake, because rattlesnakes, I mean snakes in general, but rattlesnakes in particular, you might shoot their head off, but their body's still gonna wiggle and waggle and all that. And so we put the body in a big bucket, like a big water bucket, you know, and let it die. And then my grandpa, he would hang the snakes. He would also hang squirrel tails on the side of the cabin there, and he would say that it's a sign for the other animals to stay away. Now, it never really made sense to me, because the squirrels always came back and the snakes always came back, but it just wasn't all at once. So anyway, that was his ritual, though. It was just kind of funny. But that's the story about my grandpa. And you know, what's kind of interesting, though, is, you know, because he was kind of a grumpy old man. But I always felt most comfortable around him out of everybody in my family. I always felt most comfortable around him. And he was definitely the kind of guy that he would always give it to you straight. But he was kind of an a-hole about it. You know, he wasn't always the kindest of people. And but you always knew exactly where he stood. That was one thing about him, you know. And kind of a quirky, funny old guy, but you know, I definitely related to him more than everybody else that I did, and in the family. And even though, you know, he didn't believe in a lot of the things that I was trying to do and doing with my life, and, you know, rest his soul too, because he died, you know, just a year or two ago. But the thing is like, no matter what you do in this life, even if you shoot a hole in the frickin' side of your cabin, life is going to work itself out. Okay, that's the real main message that I want to get across in this video, is like, things are just going to work out for you. And you might not know how, might not know why, you might not know what exactly, but like you're going to have to just trust that you're going to figure it out. You're going to have to trust that you're doing everything that you can to really just make your life better. You know, if you are doing everything you can to live a better, prosperous life, and I'm not saying, like, I've heard a lot of talk in these Christian spaces about prosperity gospel recently. I'm not saying, I'm not a preacher on prosperity, but prosperity is a byproduct of living what is true and letting die what is false in the eyes of God. Okay? Because here's the thing, right? I saw this post, this comment on one of my videos recently. This guy was saying that I should talk about chakras and all that, and the satanicness of it. And I've already talked about it in great length If you want to go back and check my archives, you can do so. Basically, chakras are a counterfeit kind of spirituality. Okay, that doesn't mean that they're not real, though. Okay, because the thing is, they can be satanic, and demonic entities do try to force their way into your life force through the chakra energy, because those are just concentrated nervous endings, okay, in your body. They're just concentrated nerve endings. So God made us with this ability and these capacities, but some people are just more attuned to it than others. Some people are just more intuitive about it or instinctual about it than others. And some people really feel them deeply, and I feel them very deeply. I don't like to call them gates or portals or anything, but I think about them as gates and portals, because I think the proper term is chakra, because that's just, where the term is derived from. But it doesn't make it, just because something's true, though, and just because something's real, doesn't make it good, though. Okay, evil in this world is true. It's true that there is evil in the world, but that doesn't mean that it's good. Okay, the truth is a form of love, and to tell the truth about evil is a form of love. And I think that's what we need to be focused on, more so than trying to be right or trying to, talk about certain things or being about certain things. Like, can you just chill? Can you not shoot a hole in the side of your house? Seriously, can you not? Are you able to really be able to sit with yourself in silence and enjoy your company? Many people can't do this. And if you do this, I guarantee life will fall into place for you. It will. It kind of has to, just by its own volition. So, with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I don't know why, but I feel more inclined recently in my last few videos to go into more depth about stories from my past, I suppose. Oh, but that was one other thing I wanted to mention about the therapist. The therapist wants you to be looking backward all the time. And it's not like you shouldn't look backwards, but it's like Rafiki. Rafiki in Lion King, he says, you can either run from your past or you can learn from it. A lot of people will look at their past in therapy. They'll look at it so much that they just start to run from it. And they don't even know that they're running from it, because they think they're running toward it, but they're actually running away from the healing of it. They're running toward this victim mentality. And I don't even like using that term, victim mentality, but that's kind of what it is. And then you have the people that learn from their past. Okay, can you learn from these things? Can you learn from your experiences or not? All right? But anyway, now we've wrapped this video up and put a bow on it. But I hope this message resonated with you, or was edifying in some way, shape, or form, or gave you a new perspective about something. And if you do want to sign up for a free 15-minute call to join the Regal Change Academy, if you have questions about it, now is a good time to do that. Up until the 4th of July, we've got a lot of openings on times and availability right now, so that's a good time to do so. We're going to be announcing something pretty big as far as changes go for the Regal Change Academy. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna say any more, but I'm really excited about some of the changes that we're bringing. And I think also many people are just gonna be able to be more they're gonna learn more from themselves in this newfound mode of operations that we're going to be doing for the Regal Change Academy. So I'm excited for it. If you want to sign up for a one-on-one mentorship call, feel free to reach out to me as well in the email listed in the description box below, or through my DMs on X or Instagram. Peace be with you all. Until next time.